And how much time are they giving you to get this in?
30 days. Well, it's an emergency certification, which is different from an NOI approval. And so because of the structure of that type of permit process,
are you in jeopardy of it not working properly if you're pushed to do it too quickly? I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right.
You know, we saw this coming, so we did a lot of pre-construction stuff. We actually had JB and his crew here ready to go, you know, within a matter of 24 hours of getting the approval. So,
what's it made out of? What's this? What's the
just consolidated sand.
But the cover itself.
The cover itself is a non-woven felt, which is needle punch to actually like a trampoline material, but it's much heavier than trampoline.
It's all about holding the sand in, but allowing water to filter through, if
Correct.
need be.
Actually, as we fill the tube, the fibers become pulled tighter and tighter. And as they do, the holes between them become less and less. So actually, by the time we're done, the material really doesn't let any water out at all.
So it won't let water in either.
Right.
Yeah, because that would tear it down, wouldn't it, quicker, if it did?
With this, yeah, it doesn't allow water in, but it's very small weave anyways. Once you get the sand in, it kind of builds its own internal shield as well, because the sand is bigger than the water molecule, so the sand can't come out. Backside of the top tier tube will meet the original shape of the bluff. All right, so there's the other tube on the bottom. So we take one step to here, and then we'll step back again, and now the top tier third tube will be very close to the bluff, and then the distance between the original bluff and the tube, they're going to backfill with the sand that's coming off the conveyor system.
Does that change the dynamic of the slope of this bluff?
It does not.
No.
So the backside, the bottom side of that tiered system follows the slope of the bluff.
And then the beach will continue to just be here. I mean, this is the idea, is that the beach just gets right here.
Once we get our template in, you're going to have the beach in front, and you know, we'll have to continue to keep these guys covered.
What I would like to see is that the structure itself will maintain the bluff to the elevation of the top tier tube. Okay?
That's the goal.
That's the goal in my mind, because in installation of these, whatever elevation we stop this at, if you had a 100-year storm event, now when I'm saying a 100-year storm event, not necessarily a northeaster like we just had.
Right.
You know, but in a 100-year storm event, the top tier tubes should hold everything level to that point. So the sand would be scoured off of the top tier and off of the face of the tubes, but everything behind it would stay intact.
How long can we expect this to last before we have to do it again?
If they're properly maintained, which means buried under the sand until a storm hits them to remove the material, then the bags don't suffer any kind of UV degradation or anything. It also protects them from vandals and all that. So as long as you do your regularly sand maintenance, keep them covered so they're used when they're needed and not used every day, then they should serve to last for years. I mean,
50 years maybe?
50 years. I have seen tubes before that have been installed in the 70s. Like I said, if you keep them covered, there's nothing going to tear them up. It's just the fact when people leave them exposed in the environment, then Mother Nature takes her toll, whether it be UV or just people camping out on them or, you know, normal things. But the key is to keep them buried till you need them, and they'll be here when you need them.
Where else have you put these that's similar to this place? Is there anything that comes close to this?
With this high of a bluff, no. Normally we step 2 tiers. And this is the first project we've done where we've stepped 3 tiers.
Yep.
We put a project in this year in Scotland Cay in the Bahamas, which is very similar to this because, you know, it was a 2-tier system with a 45-foot base tube, and then we stepped back to a 30-foot top tube on it.
Yep.
So doing basically identically to here, you know, right on the right in Scotland Cay, same design as this. And
when did you do that one?
We did that last June. We finished that one. This stack the stacking like this is kind of different. Normally, you know, we do a lot more with pyramids. So if you were going to make a structure, we do 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
But the bluff here being sensitive to the environment and not wanting to, you know, obviously get into that bluff and leaving it the way it is, that's why we're doing a stair step to step to the bluff. Because in order to do a pyramid, I'd have to excavate into it, lay it back, build it, and then refill the void.
Right. How concerned about scour are you in this spot?
You know, scour, when you say scour, a lot of different definitions of scour. I'm not concerned with scour on the front side of the tubes, okay?
Right.
In this system. I'm more concerned with scour on the ends.
Right.
You know, the better you can tie this structure into the natural element, the better off you are. So, you know, we're obviously...
To keep those ends from, and keeping an eye on those, would filling it with sand be the only way to really ensure that?
Yeah, you'd have to replenish the ends with sand cover to keep them so there would be something there for Mother Nature to take the next time she came. Again, you'd have to, you know, it's maintaining the system. You got to keep it buried till you need it. But you're going to see more erosion in a storm event on the ends than you are anywhere else when you say scour. Basically because you have a hard structure meeting a soft structure, which is sand, so it'll cause erosion on the ends of the structure to some degree. And the amount of that erosion, it varies depending on the type of sand you have and the environment you're in. So until you go through a couple cycles, it's anybody's guess almost.
Yeah. Where are you off to after this job?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
What's going on there?
Well, Salt Lake City, Utah is a little different. We're not actually putting tubes in there, but we're doing some work up there for a salt mining facility.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually, it's a dredging project, so we'll be pumping material, but we actually won't be putting them into bags on this particular one.
I see.
Tube work-wise, you never know. You know where we end up next. Right now, Hawaii is getting a lot of erosion from what I hear. So, you know, we've been over to Hawaii a few times. So I anticipate by the end of the year we'll probably be heading back that direction at some point.
What kind of a project is that one?
Well, the project.
Same kind of thing.
Well, no, because everyone is so different.
Yeah.
It's not like you're dealing with. It's like apples to oranges. In Hawaii, we've done the two jobs we've done in Hawaii. One was a groin project, so we built groins that went straight out into the sea to stop erosion and rebuild a beach system by the sand.
Kind of like a jetty?
A series of jetties.
But with these?
With these, yeah. Yeah, we built jetties out of these.
Really?
Runway extensions, you know, like in the islands. So your runway's a little short, extend it out 400 feet with these, cover them with stone, fill the center with sand, and there you go. Land your jet.
Unreal. Well, didn't they do that in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or somewhere?
All of the, they didn't use tubes in the island of the Palms, which is, you know, Dubai.
Yeah.
The island of the Palms are all created with dredges, but they're actually going back now and they're putting tubes in and other types of materials because their islands are eroding. So now they're going to figure out how to keep what they built.
Interesting. This seems to be the only real way to do it without. Have you ever worked on hard armoring where?
Hard armoring works, and it's the problem with hard armoring today is you need, and tubes are used enormously a lot before you do hard armoring. What you can do with a tube is you can put them in readily cost effectively. You install the tube, you evaluate it, you figure out how much structure you need. If it works the way you want to, you can always armor over a tube and use it for the core. So you don't necessarily have to take them out, but a lot of times we do pilots where we build groins out into the sea. They figure out the length of the groins that need to be, you know, because we may come back and remove one, shorten one, and do what they need to figure out what they want, and then they'll come back and they'll build it out of stone, knowing that they have the product that they anticipate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because stone nowadays, the price of stone compared to the price of tubes there's an enormous difference. Stone is very expensive to work with.
Oh, I bet. To get those stones here, you'd have to have some sort of a barge out here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and actually the weight of a tube per running foot is more than stone.
Is it?
It's harder to move this than rock. You know, this is about 10,000 pounds per foot. So each tube we're standing on right now is 2 million pounds. So to move this structure, you know, or build it out of stone would take enormous boulders.
But if you had to pull it out, you could break it and just dig it out. If you had to.
You absolutely.
Yeah.
Easy to remove as well.